I skimmed through the dusty album of photos, pages after pages of pictures of our family and our past life, smiling faces on every photo. Everyone looked so real and so alive. I flipped to the very last page and I took out the very last photo. The corners were bent and wrinkled. I looked at the 5 faces and tried to picture the time that the photo was taken. The picture was my family. We all seemed so happy and calm. I was nearly a year old, and even though I was a child, I had a happy, boyish expression on my face. I looked to the far left of the picture. Oh, man. My memory of her was faint, but that is still more than I can remember my brother Marcus. I studied their features. The encarnadine color of their hands in the picture was natural. Yet, confusion still took place in my mind. For 13 years, my brother and sister have been dead, and I still have yet to ask them what had happened. I quickly put the photo in my pocket and put away the old, tattered album. The mystery behind what happened to my sibling's death has haunted me for too long. If I didn't ask now, I may never know. I went into the kitchen where my parents were making supper. The 2 smiling faces made me second-guess my bold thrive to find out what happened to Amanda and Marcus. Without one more second thought, I held up the picture and said,
"I need to know what happened in the past."
My father walked over and put his hand on my shoulder while my mom sat in shock. To me, it felt like they didn't want me to know.
"Sweetheart, I think it's time you find out. It's been 13 years.
My dad looked at my mom with her face looking a little concerned. She agreed. "Follow me, son," my father said in a encouraging word. We went up into my parents' bedroom. I kept fidgeting with my fingers. I couldn't control my nerves. My heart was racing, 200 miles per hour. He walked over to the safe what they had in the back of their closet. He opened it up and reached inside to pull out what appeared to be some type of book. Walking towards me, he placed the book into my hands.
I just wanted you to know, by the time that it came to this, that I love you, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah! A teardrop fell from his eyes. I sat on the floor and began studying the book in my hands. I took a deep breath. All of my questions were about to be answered. I opened the cover and looked at the first page. Instantly, my heart sank. Printed in the top right corner presented the words, Amanda Rawling. This is my sister's book she had before she died. I flipped to the next page and realized that it was a diary, and the entire thing was full of diary entries. I skimmed through it, reliving my sister's life. All of a sudden, a page caught my attention. I read it over and over again, and soon I found myself uncovering my sister's haunted past. Dear Diary, I came to the conclusion that home doesn't feel like it used to. I remember walking home from school and giving my mother and father a hug before entering the door in my house. It used to be like that for a while until about 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, a note came in from the mail from Texas A&M where my brother Marcus goes to college. I didn't get to read the letter, but I do know after my mother read it, she fell on the ground crying. Father sat on the sofa with a note in his hands and shock in his face. He was yelling.
Go.
It's all my fault. I did this. Told him if he didn't get his grades up, I would bring him back to Florida. He was so mad, he got up and left. I did this.
Father was sobbing so hard I ran out to hold him and my mom. As I took the letter from his hands and began reading myself. It stated, from the headmaster, I am sorry to say, but Marcus has been in a devastating accident and was killed. The police say they have found traces of drugs and alcohol in his system. I am very sorry, Rawling family. After going to Texas to bury my brother, my family went from happy to depressed. My father being the most affected because he blamed the whole death on himself. Soon after, he languished for weeks in miserable disappointment, refusing to leave the house or see anyone. My mother barely speaks, and my father now usually spends his days and nights drunk. Home isn't the same, and dreaming about the past is false reality. I have to go now. Dad just woke up. Sincerely, Amanda. Dear Diary, the brightness from the sun woke me up this morning. I got up, tripping over my feet to get to my mirror. Whoa. I swept my hand over the purple-tinted mark right below my brow. I looked down to see my vein was swollen on my leg. Varicose veins sometimes cause large bulges on the leg. I tried my best to cover up what my dad had done to me. After I applied the makeup, the best I could, I grabbed my bag and headed to school. When I got to school, all the things that happened last night were flashing back into my mind. Every hit, every kick, and screaming at me, telling me he wished I died and not Marcus. I don't know what I did wrong. I kept thinking to myself. I couldn't get it out of my mind.
Hey, girl. Hey. Oh my God, Linda. What happened?
Nothing. I was playing with Michael and he hit me in the eye with a toy. It's no biggie. When the bell rang for school to end, my heart dropped. I did not know what was going to be awaiting me when I got there, and honestly, I did not want to know. Sincerely, Amanda. Dear Diary, it's almost been a month since I last wrote, but it's because the beatings have gotten worse. So bad that I've been scared to even let my baby brother Michael around my dad, so I watch him every second of the day. I'm really frightened for my mother. We got a call today from my dad's work. They fired him from lack of effort and not making it to work for the past 3 weeks. My mother cried an awful lot and told my father we couldn't live like this anymore. My mother is so frustrated, I think it's from her hypertension. Hypertension is often a cause of serious diseases. I could tell my father is getting annoyed by her ranting. He took one last sip of his beer and slammed it on the floor, shattering the bottle glass to pieces. He looked at my mother with an incubus look and balled up his fist.
Yeah. Do you ever shut up, you dirty hag?
He screamed and punched her right in the mouth. Mother fell on her knees, screaming, and spit out 2 white pieces. I was mortified. Dad had knocked her teeth out. She looked up to see me standing with terror in my eyes. Dear Diary, I'm failing 3 subjects in school. My teachers keep telling me that they want to talk to my parents. I have to keep lying and making up excuses every day. It is my fault, though. I'm too afraid to sleep at night because I'm wondering whether or not my father would come and beat me again. People were saying things about my family like their behavior was verging on hysteria. This means that the only time I can sleep is during school, and I have to get sleep somehow. However, my principal called home, and with my luck, my father answered the phone. When I got home, I got a bigger beating than ever.
Alright, what am I supposed to say?
Just keep going, keep going, keep going.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Macadelic. You mother.
I cried and cried, but nothing stopped the blows and swings that just kept on coming. He left my room. My arm was pessy from the wound he reopened when he slammed me into my dresser. The purulent sore requires a doctor's care. I ran to the bathroom and quenched the flames with water. I feel a little bit better, but it still stings. Sincerely, Amanda. Dear Diary, sometimes I wonder if people know the hurt I hold inside of me, the lies I tell so people don't know the truth about my father's beatings. Even my friend Bethany is still clueless about the beatings. Every time she notices something I say it's from my baby brother. She looks at me as a normal 15-year-old girl loving life, but it's the opposite. I guess you could say I do a good job at hiding it all. That is only because I have an idyllic mind. The idyllic landscape of fields and woods seem to promise a life of simple enjoyment, the only thing I have left to hope and happiness. Last night was one of the worst beatings my mom took from my dad. He came home drunk as ever, going to the bar. Everything started fine, my mom making dinner for us, my brother watching his favorite cartoon, and I'm sitting in the living room doing homework. All of a sudden, I hear my father yelling about the rent being due and that we're late on paying. He is calling my mom all these horrible names. She shouts back at him.
The dollar we hope to make is illusory until we earn it and have it.
He yells back at her even louder.
Don't importune me for something you could earn so easily.
I then pick up Michael and run him into my room. I look at him and say,
Go.
Stay. Then peeked out my door to see a pan fly at my mom. She ducks, but that does not stop him. She is pleading for him to calm down, but he won't. He runs over, pushing my mom down like he is in a WWE match, pounding and slamming her around. She is screaming, stop, but it's like he is possessed. I run out hoping I can stop him. I try and grab his arms, but he quickly turns around and backhands me. I fall to the ground. Everything gets quiet. He turns around and looks at me, then grabs the car keys and leaves.
Penis.
My mother quickly crawls over towards me. She holds on to me, rocking me back and forth like a baby. I'm crying so hard and I'm so angry. I can't take this anymore. I push off of her and run into my room. Sincerely, Amanda. Dear Mom and Dad, I can no longer take this hurt and this pain. Every day I get up wondering if it is my last. I'm tired of watching my family suffer, and I can't help but think maybe it is my fault everything got so bad. My grades went down. I talked back. I made Dad so angry to the point he wanted to beat us, Mom. And I'm sorry. He will rue the day he insulted me. My life is spiraling downhill, and my mind is telling me to give up. And in all honesty, I think my mind is right. We tried vainly to win the game, but we failed. It is impossible to live in such a ramshackle house. I'm crying as I am writing this letter because it is the last statement you will see from me. I just wish we could rewind back to when I was born. Dad loved me. I remember Mom showing me the picture of me as a baby. She said, the doctor had to cut the umbilical cord to free the newborn infant from its mother. She said that Dad couldn't wait to hold me, but that has all changed now, I guess. Blood is flowing from my wrists and everything is getting blurry. It It is hard for me to write. I think I see something in the distance, like God lie or something. I'm picturing myself on a hill in God's land. The view is breathtaking from the vertex of the hill. I wish you could see it, but this is goodbye, Mom and Dad. I'm sorry, I was such a disappointment. One more thing, Dad. You got your wish. I'm dead. Sincerely, Amanda.
A teardrop fell from my face onto the white paper. She killed herself. Amanda killed herself because she felt like she wasn't wanted. Only if she knew that I wanted her. I wanted her to stay. No, I think to myself, this can't be true. I stand up to go downstairs and ask my dad why. Why would he do this to us? When I did get up, the book fell. I picked it up to see a newspaper article on a white-lined piece of paper, folded up. It said, "I'm sorry, Mom and Dad," signed by Amanda. I quickly opened up the paper to first read, and it read, 15-year-old Amanda Rowland was found dead in her room Friday night. Police officers stated that the girl had bruises on her body from previous problems in the past. Officer Mandel stated the scapular region of the child's body was covered with bruises. Also, the thorax was covered with bruises. The chest is the thorax in humans. Another teardrop falls from my face onto the newspaper. The veracity of the document could not be questioned. I knew this really happened to my sister, and I was mortified. I looked up, as if I'm looking up to the sky, and I whisper.
I'm sorry. Let me get to the chorus, dude.
I was playing with Michael.
I wanted you to know that by the time it came
She ran right to the door. I saw her